The Broadway phenomenon Mamma Mia is returning to the Fisher Theater, and today we're talking to one of the cast members from this production, Sarah Agrusa. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So first off, I just want to say that this is such a show that I've seen multiple times. I grew up on the film. I mean, this is such a iconic Broadway show. What is it like for you to be in Mamma Mia?
It is literally so insane and so amazing. I saw the show like so many years ago when I was younger. So to get to see it and now get to be in it, I still have like the little Mamma Mia bear that they have. So getting to see that, like they're still selling that, it was just like so heartwarming to get to know that I saw it and now I get to be a part of such a cool and amazing legacy.
Like what a full circle moment for you. You got to see it and now you're a part of that.
Yes, yeah, it really is, crazy to think that as a performer, we get to see these shows, and then when they, come back around, we get to be a part of them is just, like, so heartwarming, as you said.
So as a performer, what kind of drew you to wanting to be a part of Mamma Mia besides maybe like that aspect of having such a relation to it for so long time?
Yeah, it's such a show that brings joy, and that's really something that drew me into it. I am somebody that really likes to find the joy in life and really appreciate those little things. So getting to be a part of a show that we get to see so much joy spread across the country as we're performing is it's really something special.
I will say that came to Detroit. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but it was such a. I mean, it's a different energy when you go in there. People are just like sometimes they go into a show and they don't know a show, but like everybody knew the show. Everybody knew the songs. Everyone knew what was happening, and so it did add just like such an electric energy to what Mamma Mia is.
Yeah, it really is special, like, how I think, it spans across all generations, and I think that social media has really brought, like, clips of the movies back into, like, the younger generation's lives, so it really is circulating through all the generations now, and I think that just getting to look out and see everybody know the songs when we do the finale, and they get to kind of get up out of their seats and dance with us. I was in the show the last time it played at the Fisher, and I definitely agree that it was electric, and I'm so excited to get to go back and feel that feeling again in my hometown.
You're from Michigan.
Yes, yes, I'm from Michigan.
Oh, that's so awesome, and it's so cool to be able to welcome you back into that, and like what a another full circle moment of like you get to be back in a place where you kind of were raised and you got to see shows at.
Yes, yeah, and, when I was little, The Wizard of Oz came through there, and they used to kind of bring in, like, local munchkins, so I got to be a part of that when I think I was, like, 8 years old,
Oh
so to get
wow.
to then perform on the stage again, like, as a working professional, is yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool, I can't lie.
Yeah, like such a, like a like it brimming moment. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
could only imagine being in your shoes and being like, wow, this is it's like surreal in a way.
Yes, very, very surreal, that's a great word for it.
So you have quite a bit that you're doing with this production, and one of them is that you are an assistant dance captain. And so for maybe those who are unfamiliar with what that role is, or like what that capacity is, can you tell us like what is a dance captain for a musical?
Yeah, so I would say that we kind of just help keep the integrity of the show.
Okay.
So it depends on the show, but for us, we travel. We have our dance captain, which is Danny, and he is incredible. And then I kind of help assist him. So we kind of just help to make sure that the show is running smoothly. If we need to, if anybody new comes into the show at any time, we help them learn the show, we rehearse them, or if somebody is learning like an understudy track, or if there's another swing going on, we just kind of help to make sure that everybody feels like they have all the material, all the things necessary when it comes to the dance world. So we teach like choreography and all those kinds of things. And then, yeah, we just help to make sure that the show keeps running and everybody's feeling good. And yeah, that about sums it up.
So in that kind of capacity, do you have to be like obviously you're in the show, you're dancing, you're doing your pieces and stuff, but do you also have to be like very aware of what's going on the stage too in case you have to guide somebody?
Yeah, so usually so I'm not in the show actually 8 times a week.
Sure.
I sit off. So I'm able to kind of usually, and Danny is too, help out anybody that needs help from backstage. But yes, there definitely is that layer of like being ready to help out if that's needed. So I think like for me, I just try to be as prepared as I can be for the tracks that I cover. So that way I feel good and ready to help anybody who has any questions or if they need anything. But yeah, so it's kind of wearing both those hats at the same time.
And speaking of, covering roles and stuff, as a swing, you have quite a few different roles that you probably cover. How many do you actually cover?
So I actually cover 8. So I
Wow.
cover yes, I cover 7 there's 7 people in the Team Sophie ensemble, so I cover all of them, and then I cover one of Sophie's best friends, Allie.
How do you like when you have so many roles that you kind of have to know? Like, what is it like to kind of balance those or like keep them in your head to know like this is the track I'm on tonight, this is what I got to do because that's quite a bit to have to memorize and remember.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely takes practice and finding your own groove. I definitely think every swing swings a little bit differently, just based off of everyone I've talked to. But for me, I really like to just have everything like laid out in front of me. So I have like full typed out tracking through every single show of what that person does. And I have it all color coded and separated. So that way I can just reference it at a moment's notice. I also run the show on my own, whether if I'm not on, I can run it backstage or I run it in my hotel room just to make sure that I stay on top of my material. But it's quite a bit of homework, but I love the
Sure.
homework so much. It's so rewarding, and when you get to go on stage and you really feel like, I did a great job and I got through the track and I was able to really be present on stage, like that is definitely the win.
Do you have a favorite track that you like that you love to perform?
Um, I would say so the first track that I learned will always hold a special place in my heart. It was the first
Sure.
track I debuted with the first time I did the tour, and then it was the first track that I debuted with when I went on Broadway. So I think it will just
That's awesome.
always kind of you can't really, beat the the track you debut with on Broadway.
For
But
sure.
it is my best friend in the show, her track, Allie Antonelli's track. That is my probably my favorite track in the show.
Speaking of taking this to Broadway, that was such a cool moment as like a critic or like a fan to see it go back to Broadway and the reception it was. But how was it for you as a performer to go from the national tour to bring that back to Broadway for that limited run? That had to be so amazing.
Yeah, it is crazy, to say that I was on Broadway. It's still even though I've done it, feels like a dream.
Sure.
It truly was like, it's that moment that, like, you kind of dream of when you're little of like, I want to be up there. So to get to be up there in New York City, and as a swing, it's sometimes, it can be hard because you never know when you're going to debut. So
Right.
it was like really, really special to just have so many family and friends in the audience to get to share this huge moment with me. And yeah, the company, of course, like we've been together for 2 years. So you really like do after that amount of time kind of feel like a family. And there were so many Broadway debuts when we were in New York City. That I think it was just special that we all got to just share this experience together. I think there was like maybe 26, there might have been actually a couple more Broadway
That's
debuts in one
incredible.
company. Yeah, and that doesn't always happen. So to get to share that with them, yeah, and Mamma Mia is such a family. Like the cast then, the cast now, like, it's we all just continue to grow and support each other. And I think that that's something that's so special about this show.
You can definitely tell from an audience perspective of just how much everybody there is so connected.
Yes.
And they truly do care about not just the show, but about each other and about everybody's winning when one person's winning in that aspect.
Yeah, I really agree with that. And, it's just been so incredible to have that support and to really get to just, like, feel the love of everybody and not just, like, from the company, but from the audience, it's something so special about this show is just the joy that it spreads and the joy you get to see and the joy you feel as you're doing it, you know?
Absolutely. And speaking of like the joy and the family and the love of this, has your time with Mamma Mia changed maybe how you view love or family or friendship?
Yeah, I do think it has changed a little bit. You know, I think being on the road is it can be a little bit challenging at times because 'cause you're not as connected with the people in your life, maybe, let's say, as you once were because you're traveling,
Sure.
so you're not face to face with them. So I think, just, like, in my personal life, I think that it's just, like, changed how I view, like, love and how support looks for me, because it's not, my friend and me at a coffee shop talking anymore. It's like, "Let's find a time to FaceTime and, like, let's sit down and, like, check in on each other," and I don't even feel that just from my friends and family, but I also feel that, like, with my cast members, It's, like, so great to have that support.
As a psychologist, I always wonder, like, what it's like to be on the road because it could become very isolating. You're moving from city to city. You're doing something that's amazing and wonderful, and you're putting so much love into that. But like, it's not having that, like you said, family around in a moment's notice to be like, hey, let's go to dinner and just catch up. That could be super challenging for mental health.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really lucky, I actually travel with my miniature dachshund, Ollie.
Aw.
I actually got him while I was on the road the first year, and he has literally changed my life so much, and changed touring for me, and I just feel really grateful that I'm allowed to travel with him because getting to come home to him every night is so nice, and, like, he really just gives me so much love. And yeah, and I try to give it back, but he's the best. So it is challenging, but he makes it so easy.
We love that you have a Mamma Mia dog. That's such a great way to kind
Yes.
of, like you said, bring it's a little bit of home everywhere you go.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And, I think also too, like the cast loves him. And I think he can also spread a little joy to everybody else. So I just love getting to share him with everyone and everybody to really get to also feel like they maybe have a little pup with them on the road just to keep everybody, warm and fuzzy and cuddly with Ollie. It's really great.
That's so awesome. That's really cool to hear. Like that's the background stories you love to hear of just like the energy of this is a family, but also there's a little dog there to keep everybody kind of sane, for a moment.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite number from the show that you feel like you connect with most with the audience?
Yes, I do. So my favorite number is Super Trooper. I think that this is like always my answer, but I just love it so much. We don't really get to see the audience too much in it, but I think that they can kind of every like second I get to peek out, I can totally like see them feeling what we're feeling on stage. It's just Team Sophie on stage and the Dynamos. And it's just like really a girl power number. And it's just all of us just like experiencing this moment together, and it's a number where you really get to connect with everybody on stage because there's a lot of free moments. So it's as a swing, like the coolest number to be in because every night that I get to do a different track, I get to connect with different people on stage, and I think that that's really special.
That's always one of my favorite moments in the show too. I don't know. I grew up as an 18 kid, so I always grew up on the ABBA songs. But Super Trooper in Mamma Mia was always just a number that it made you feel so good for some reason. And like I could never pinpoint. I'm like, why do I feel such this great energy from that song? But it's the one I walk away singing all the time.
Yes.
Is there a song or number that is the most challenging to perform live?
Hmm. I would say, hmm, that's a good question. I would say for me, it kind of depends on the night, I guess. But I would say maybe sometimes that, let's see, challenging. I would say maybe sometimes that the finale can be a little bit tough, just because you really want to give everything that you have, and it's the last like 10 minutes of the show. So, really, what I do when I'm feeling like maybe not my best is I just take a look out at the audience and you see how much joy everybody is having. And it kind of just gives you that little bit of like juice you need to get through those last 8 minutes. And really deliver like your best show. So I always look to the audience and kind of feel their energy, and that gives me the fuel I need to give that performance through the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, because that's probably like a tough 8 minutes if you think about it, because it's the highest energy part of the show, and you're feeding off the audience, but also you're giving 140%.
Yes, yeah, it is the toughest, I would say, but it is definitely like dance wise my favorite, next to Super Trooper because it's just so much fun and it truly is a party up there.
Absolutely. Speaking of the songs, though, is there an ABBA song that best describes your personality?
Hmm. I would say, ooh, that's a good question. I would say maybe I just, like, love "Gimme Gimme." I don't know if it describes my personality, but I just think it's, like, a fun, like, song for someone, like, my age, because it's talking about, like, it's just talking about having fun and, like, going out, so I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe as a 20 or like, in my 20s, that's maybe a good one. Yeah.
I think that's the right energy. It's just it's an energetic song. It's just
Yeah.
it's about having that fun, just kind of dancing and not having a care in the world.
Yes.
So, what themes from Mamma Mia really resonate the most with you currently?
I think the theme of friendship, I think that that's something that, like, as you're somebody, like, in your 20s that you really, like, lean on those people around you and those friends around you, and I've had so many of my friends that have just, like, changed my life and people that have come into my life, like, even friends I've made on this show, like, my first year of tour, my bestie, Madison Deadman, shout out to her, but she has totally, like, really uplifted me in ways that I didn't know that you could find in friendship and just like that girlhood and how important that is. She's really like given me that and I love her dearly. So yeah, I think friendship is really, really big for me. And we see that in the dynamos and then it's reflected in Sophie and Allie and Lisa, right? So we see how much our friends can really support us and like how that really gets us through those moments that are tough or they celebrate us in those moments that are great, and it's great to have friends like that.
It sounds like you started making your own dynamos with your friendships here that you've made from Mamma
Yes.
Mia.
Yes, definitely, for sure. I do have my little dynamos group.
But I love that that's the message because I think that people think of this as like there's lots of different themes going on here, and one of them is definitely the takeaway. People talk about the love story,
Yes.
aspect of this. But truly, I always think of the friendship when I think about this, of just like the connections of like no matter what happens, who comes into your life, your friends are always going to be there for you no matter what.
Yes, and I really think, like, the moment that we see that friendship is, like, Chiquitita to Dancing Queen, which is the bedroom scene with the dynamos. It is one of my favorite scenes in the show. They do, like, the most incredible job with it, and it's so funny. They have you laughing so hard, and you really see them, like, uplifting Donna in this moment, and it's just so great, and I love it so much.
It is that is a highlight. You're right. That is it's a great moment between them.
Yeah, it really is.
So one final question for you before I let you go is just what are you hoping audiences take away from this production of Mamma Mia?
I I hope that every audience that sees this takes away just joy and love and that feeling of just community. I think it's so beautiful the way that like everybody is in this theater together watching the show and those last like 10 minutes that we talked about where everyone's up on their feet and dancing. I really hope that everybody feels that love and joy from us and they're feeling that sense of community in the theater between them and the other theater goers watching it.
That's a perfect answer. Sarah, thank you so much for being here. This has been such an incredible time talking with you. And again, we are so excited to see Mamma Mia arrive back in Detroit.
Thank you. I love getting to talk with you too, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
So we're going to cut that part out. So Mamma Mia arrives at the Fisher Theater on March 24th and runs to the 29th. So get your tickets from ATG Detroit and we'll see you at the show.